mentioned in the previous video, now I'm going to talk about pattern variation, or how to use or to write three general grammatical patterns, either pattern 1, pattern 2, or pattern 3 in a varied ways, or we call it pattern variation. There are 4 pattern variation as you can see in this whiteboard. The first is who, at plus where plus pattern plus information. So in this variation, you may use either pattern 1, pattern 2, or pattern 3. In the second, in a report issued by or from plus source plus pattern plus information. Just simply choose either pattern 1, pattern 2, or pattern 3, whatever you like. The third, a plus year plus source plus report or study plus pattern. Again, the same rules occur or happen in this, and then information. The last, according to plus source plus pattern plus information. To make it clearer, let's see each example of these pattern variations. Okay, for the first, this is an example for pattern variation number 1. Researchers at the Center for Disease Control found that the virus was highly contagious among laboratory rats. We find that researchers used who, then there is at in here, at, where, in the Center for Disease Control. Then we find found as the reporting verb, and also that, followed by a virus, a subject, and verb. So this is a variation number 1, pattern variation, for using pattern 1. Remember about the formula in the previous video. An example for number 2. In a report issued by the World Bank, the subcommittee on the trade viewed the modest growth as encouraging despite being well below projection. So we find in a report issued by as the formula of pattern variation number 2, the World Bank as source, then viewed as reporting verb, it followed by something, as and Jalan. So this is a pattern variation number 2 for writing or using pattern 2. Okay, number 3. It is followed by year 2004. Harvard studies suggest that drinking coffee may indeed have health benefits. This is an example of pattern variation number 3. A, year plus source plus pattern. Pattern using reporting verb such as that, followed by subject, verb. So this is also the variation for writing pattern 1. The last example, according to Lee, the genome test results support the substantial body of archaeological evidence that concludes rice domestication began in the Yangtze River Valley. According to, it's same. Then we find source. Okay, source. The genome test results support is the reporting verb, and then it's followed by that, subject, and verb. Variation, pattern variation number 4 for pattern 1. Okay, so that's all about pattern variation number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and how to write pattern 1, pattern 2, and pattern 3 in 3 general grammatical patterns on using reporting verb and phrases. Okay guys, if you have checked the certain vocabularies for each pattern, pattern 1, pattern 2, and pattern 3, you know that there are many of them. And it's important to remind you that reporting verbs have different meanings and different level of strength. So as the writer, you should concern on choosing the appropriate one, in writing it, in using it in your sentence according to the meaning or the level of strength, or in short, the function of your sentence. In case maybe several vocab are more suitable to use rather than the others. So you really need to concern about this. And the second is avoid to use neutral reporting verbs like says or states. Yes, those verbs are good to use because it conveys neutral position, which is really important to be delivered by the writer in case to reach objective point of view in writing, especially in academic writing. But there is a tendency, or writer tends to often to overuse it, so it resulted on the less accurate writing and also repetitive. So it's important to you to practice and to apply pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, and pattern variation on showing, on using reporting verbs and phrases in your body paragraph or in your academic essay. Okay, that's all. Thank you.